Okay, welcome back to our journey home. And this is the story of us. We are here with Bucky for story time, and we are bringing you stories from a different Discord that you have that I
Yes, Rose.
and one that you've been really kind of spring it's been flowing out of you. You got a lot of seeds
Yeah.
in that one. So
So much so we had to change the name of it.
we had to change the name of it. There's a lot in there, and you probably have enough to make like two or three other books from this particular one, and you're still adding in there.
Yeah.
And the last episodes we had, we did read the Storyteller, the Spider Woman, and we did also read from Skinwalker and Gorruk. But we're not gonna do all of those. If anybody wanted to listen to the Skinwalker Ranch stuff, you could also come and talk to Bucky. He's got some knowledge on it. Or you could
Yeah.
catch the next episode after this one. We'll try to space them out so that you get a little piece of everything in each one of these. Or come and talk about any of the other stuff that we like, any of these subjects, because these are very much out there. A lot of people are talking about it. It is in the collective a lot. So we can hold a podcast where we just talk about that, and Bucky can throw some stories in or perspectives in.
Yeah. Always happy to share a story, especially with Rose.
I'm the little kid
She
that's
gives
like,
me,
I want to listen, please. Tell me another one.
I would do this. Give me another story. Please, may I have some more?
I'm the little kid that wants more stories and won't go to sleep until I get a whole bunch of them. Okay.
That would be annoying, especially if you're coming up with one on the spot. Be like a long time ago when the earth was free and clear of any living habitation, there was a rock.
And yet I'd still be awake for the whole thing and my eyes wouldn't get droopy. I'd still be like, no, I didn't go to
Yep.
sleep yet. Like, she didn't go to sleep. Okay,
Yep.
so to start this one, we're doing two that came right after the Storyteller and the Spider Woman. And some of them I know underneath that little section we did, maybe not ordered just right, but we're gonna go read through them as they are. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna do the next two, which gives you a little insight into the healing part of what's kind of transpiring in different reality spaces for people. Sometimes the healing comes a little different, but each healing step does start at the beginning. And it starts with the root of things inside of people. Where did this habit come from? Where did this survival mode, where did this scar actually originate from? Because sometimes the symptom is what we're feeling and not actually the root of what's causing the scars, the actual bleeding part to happen. Okay. Do you want me to read or would you like to?
You always go first, remember?
Okay. I will read these two and then you could do the next two.
Okay.
Okay, so healing's beginning. And the time before time, when the world was still young and the stars whispered secrets to the earth, the great creator looked down upon the vastness of the land and the creatures that called it home. The creator saw beauty in the mountains, serenity in the rivers, and life in every beginning. Yet there was a longing, a unfulfilled need. In this world filled with wonder, there was a lack of understanding, a yearning for connection to the spirit realm. With a gentle breath, the Creator called forth a being, a woman of the earth. She was woven from the very fabric of nature, embodying the essence of every flower and tree, every breeze and stream. The Creator's intention was clear. This woman would be chosen to bridge the gap between the spirit world and the world of the living. She would be the first medicine person, gifted with the ability to heal, to guide, and to commune with the sacred energies that flowed through all things. As she grew, the woman learned to listen to the whispers of the wind and the songs of the stars. She understood the language of the animals and could feel the pulse of the earth beneath her feet. Through her connection, she became a vessel of knowledge and healing, offering comfort to the sick and wisdom to the lost. The people revered her, coming from far and wide to seek her counsel, and in her presence they found hope and restoration. Yet as the shadows lengthened, not all who sought her wisdom had pure intentions. Among the people, some noticed the power she wielded, the influence she held over the hearts of others. They began to covet her gifts, believing that such strength could be harnessed for their own desires. A darkness crept into the hearts of a few, twisting their purpose and binding them to the sacred respect that the connection to the spirit world demanded. These individuals sought the knowledge of the medicine woman but approached her with a deceitful hearts. They learned the sacred ways, but instead of using them to heal, they turned their gifts toward manipulation and control. With each act of selfishness, the balance began to falter. The earth trembled in response to their actions, and the spirits grew restless, warning of the consequences that would come. Yet, even in the darkness, the light remained. The medicine woman, aware of the struggles within her community, did not turn away from her purpose. She understood that with every gift comes the potential for both creation and destruction. She taught those who came to her that true power lies not in the dominion but in the humility and service. The path of the healer is one of responsibility, requiring not only strength but also compassion and wisdom. As time passed, the people began to recognize the duality of existence, the light and the dark, the healing and the harm. They learned that to appreciate the beauty of the world, they must also acknowledge its shadows. The medicine woman became a symbol of this understanding, showing that the connection to the spirit world could be a source of great healing when approached with reverence. And so the legacy of the first medicine person lived on, woven into the fabric of the earth and the hearts of the people. They carried her teachings forward, sharing the knowledge of balance and respect, understanding the journey of creation is a dance between light and dark. In this way, the spirit of the first medicine person remains, guiding those who seek to walk their sacred path, reminding them that every connection has the potential to heal or harm, and that true wisdom lies in the choices they make. I do like that particular story in a way because it does give, as you were talking about, you stay true to the source material. A lot of the white buffalo calf woman as being the
Yeah,
medicine woman and showing about the tradition pipe and how to give reverence even. But a lot of other things are woven into that. A lot of other myths about, again, even just being a shaman or a medicine woman even today, or a medicine man even today. How do you bring in the balance and know what is harmful and hurtful, even in healing?
yeah,
It's like, I think I believe it's in Reiki that you're not supposed to actually heal a broken bone until it's set. Because if you try to send healing to somebody who has the broken bone it's not set, you actually set the bone in that position, which means it would have to be rebroken again in order to heal.
yeah,
So again, are you causing it's the discernment to understand, are you causing healing or are you causing more harm? Interesting.
yeah. Very good story.
Thank you. Okay, I'll read the next one. Giving reverence. In the time before time, when the world was still forming and the whispers of creation danced upon the winds, the Creator looked down upon the tapestry of the earth. The mountains rose majestically, rivers flowed with purpose, and the forest breathed life into the air. Yet the Creator saw that the beings of this world wandered, searching for sustenance without understanding the deeper connection that lay within the earth's bounty. In this moment of reflection, the Creator felt a stirring in the heart, a desire for the people to not only find food and shelter, but to grasp the wisdom that the earth held. The wisdom was not merely about survival, it was about the sacred relationship between the beings and the land, a bond that would nourish their spirit as much as the roots and the herbs would nourish their bodies. Thus, the first storyteller was inspired, and the winds carried this message across the valleys and hills. Gathering the people by a great fire, the storyteller shared the tales of the first traditional medicine collectors. These collectors roamed the meadows, climbed the hills, and ventured into the forests, guided by the pulse of the earth and the songs of the wind. With every step they listened, not just to the rustle of leaves or the chirping of birds, but to the deep, resonant voice of the Mother Earth herself. As the collectors learned to identify the plants, they discovered not only their physical properties, but also the stories woven into each leaf and root. The vibrant green of the healing herbs told of rejuvenation, the sturdy bark spoke of resilience, and the delicate flower whispered of beauty and balance. Each discovery opened a door to understanding the delicate web of life that connected all beings. The storytellers spoke of how the collectors would sit in quiet moments, surrounded by the gifts of the earth, and in their stillness they felt the heartbeat of the land. They learned to honor the cycles of growth, to gather only what was needed, and to give thanks for the abundance bestowed upon them. This practice deepened their connection to the essence of the earth, transforming mere knowledge into a sacred trust. With time, the collectors became healers, guiding others in the ways of the plants. They shared their wisdom, teaching that each herb was a reflection of the spirit of the earth's spirit, a reminder that all creation was intertwined. They spoke of the importance of respect for the land, for in caring for Mother Earth, the people would ensure that her gifts would continue to flow through the generations. The Creator watched with joy as the people embraced this knowledge, realizing that the earth was not just a place to live, but a living being deserving of reverence and love. The collectors became the keepers of stories, passing down the teachings of the plants and the sacred bond that connected all life. And so the world thrived, woven together by the threads of understanding and respect. The first storyteller understood that the legacy of the collectors was not just in the herbs they gathered, but in the deepened relationships formed with the earth and one another. Through their journey, they had unlocked the true essence of existence, a harmony that would resonate through time, reminding all beings of the sacred connection that nurtures the spirit and sustains life. So I like this story because coming from somebody who's an energy healer, you hone in on the frequency of that particular herb or plant. And so that's obviously in the way that it's being displayed here. And you can also, being a healer, understand when an herb plant that is grown is not in balance itself because of external environmental factors. And most of the time it's humans. But I like that the balance part is met there. The abundance that that Earth gives is sometimes not recognized. So having people teach that and still carry that on today, that is a really important thing as we kind of are going back into these old ways. So I like how you kind of really did that in the story. Like to be the storytellers and the collectors and those that are the healers.
Yeah, I like how that one turned out because I was able to loop together, like you said, like the storyteller and the collectors and the collectors becoming the keepers of the stories and also the keeper of the knowledge of the being the collector.
So one of the other things, so tying this into a little bit of the reality space, is how many things that are discovered or rediscovered are sending those ripples back through time, because time isn't what people think it is, and we're able to actually give that knowledge, heal that whole line of generation just by recognizing the things that we're doing today. Like
Yeah,
even this story is here and can unlock somebody else to want to go learn about that, learn about the herb, to learn about a little bit more of holistic or natural healing that may help them more than the synthetic stuff that is being made and given to people or forced to people.
yeah,
All of these are really important.
yes. Because without somebody, because all it takes is one spark for a fire to be ignited in somebody or something. You know how they say,
Mm.
and
Sometimes,
then yeah,
well, sometimes that what again, we think that there's nothing to our stories because we've lived them, we've gone through them, and it's just, we've done it. It's nothing. But it may be the key to getting somebody else who's going through it right now the strength to get out of it or the door to open and appear for them to go through.
yeah. That's why we say never disregard somebody's perspective.
It is valid. It's a valid truth for somebody. It doesn't have to be valid for everybody. And that's some of the imbalance we see is that you find one person or maybe multiple people that are projecting that this is the only way to do something. And it's not. So, but their perspective on it is valid. Their path to experiencing it was. And then you have people that are kind of trapped in their own thing because even if they're not experiencing it currently, they're trapped in holding on to that habit they formed to get through that experience. And it's something that you can learn from, but it's not something that you necessarily, and the negative part of it or the stuff that's heavy, you should be carrying with you. That's part of the healing that can be harmful that somebody may be carrying. What kind of stuff are they carrying in their little red wagon, right?
Yeah,
That's a good little story too. We should probably include that in one of the other podcasts we do.
The Little Red Wagon story.
Yeah. Again, sometimes the simplest stories help again unlock something in person. Wait a second, I'm carrying all this around. Do I have to carry all this around with me? All right. So the next ones we picked, I think you picked them, were the Price of Love series.
I thought you said we were gonna do Skinwalker.
No, we were gonna do those in the next one. We're gonna do the
Okay.
Price of Love. We'll do the two from
Hey.
there. Okay, you get to do
Okay.
those two.
This is Blossoms of Unconditional Love from the Price of Love series. In a time long ago, in a land rich with stories and vibrant cultures, there lived a young girl with hair of spun gold. She resided in a fort that stood tall and sturdy, surrounded by fields of wildflowers and whispering grasses. Not far from her home, on the banks of a gentle river, the tribe awaited news of their future, their hearts heavy with the uncertainty of relocation. Among the tribe was a boy, wise beyond his years, with skin the color of rich earth and eyes that sparkled like the stars. He felt the weight of his people's plight, but his spirit was bright, and he found solace in the beauty of nature that surrounded them. Each day, as the sun painted the sky with shades of gold and pink, the girl would slip away from the fort, her heart drawn to the river's edge. It was there, beneath the shade of an ancient tree, that she first met the boy. Their laughter mingled with the sound of bubbling water as they shared stories and dreams, their differences fading in the warmth of their friendship. In the meadow where the wildflowers danced in the breeze, they would lay side by side, watching the clouds drift lazily overhead. The girl would weave crowns from blossoms, adorning the boy's head with colorful petals, and he would teach her the songs of his people, melodies that spoke of the land, the sky, and the spirits that watched over them. As the days turned into weeks, their bond grew stronger, tapestry woven from shared moments. They explored the river's banks, skipping stones and searching for smooth, flat rocks to paint with vibrant colors, creating art that told their stories. They ventured into the woods where the boy showed the girl where to find the sweetest berries and the tallest trees, each step a lesson in the harmony of nature. But the world around them was changing. The fort stood as a reminder of the boundaries imposed by the outside world, and whispers of relocation loomed in the air. The girl felt the heaviness in her heart, knowing that their time together might be fleeting. In those moments, they would sit by the river, watching the water flow, a symbol of their friendship that would endure, no matter where they were destined to go. One day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the girl took the boy's hand in hers. No matter where you go, she said, her voice trembling, you will always be my, you will always be my friend. The boy smiled, his eyes shining with understanding, and you will always be in my heart, he replied. As the seasons changed and the day of relocation arrived, the girl, and the boy stood at the river's edge. The memories of their time together etched forever in their minds. They promised to carry the spirit of their friendship with them, no matter the distance that might separate them. With a final embrace, they parted, each step into a future unknown, but the bond they had forged remained unbroken. River The river continued to flow, a silent witness to their story, and in the hearts of both, the essence of their friendship would echo through time, reminding them of the beauty found in understanding and love transcending all boundaries.
Very odd glitch there that happened on the
Yeah,
one
I got a
sentence.
phone call.
Oh, okay. All right. But
Uh,
It did continue through though. It was
Yeah,
like it just stopped for a second and it continued right on the same sentence. So that was good. Just
yeah,
happens that this
because
things
I,
happen.
mm, yeah,
I like the story. Well, I like the story because it does touch on a lot of things that were separating when people, again, when indigenous people were on reservations and been separated out from their own people. But it also touches on the innocence of just what is unconditional love, what is real unconditional love in this. So you don't look at what a person is wearing, what they look like, whenever. It's just that innocence of the moment. And a lot of unconditional love comes in the when your inner child actually meet, because we don't your inner child doesn't see with that bias that the world shows you, that what gets programmed in from other people or other experiences. So I like that that's something that can be innocent but yet kind of carried right through.
yeah.
It's a beautiful
I
story.
like that story. I like the end of it though because it takes a twist at the end. But
We're only going to do two from
yeah,
there, so it'll be a cliffhanger to see what the love part of this comes in at the ends of them.
yeah.
Stay tuned to the next podcast for the ending on those ones.
Mm, okay. So should we do the next one then?
Yes.
Okay. This is True Love's Bonds. In a time long after their childhood days by the river, beneath the watchful gaze of the moon and stars, two souls had grown apart. Yet their hearts still beat in rhythm with the memories of their shared laughter and dreams. The girl, now a young woman, had learned the ways of her people, gathering wisdom from nature and the elders, while the boy had, having matured into a strong and courageous young man, had embraced the responsibilities of his tribe. One day, as the sun rose high in the sky, casting a golden hue over the land, the young woman joined a group of girls from the fort to gather firewood in the woods. The air was filled with laughter as they walked, the sound of their voices mingling with the rustle of leaves and the songs of birds above. The young woman felt a warmth in her heart, a reminder of the friendships forged in the innocence of youth. But tranquility can be deceptive. Suddenly, as the shadows danced among the trees, a group of warriors from a rival tribe emerged like thunderclouds, their intentions clear and their presence menacing. The girls gasped, fear gripping their hearts as they scattered, fleeing in different directions. The young woman, however, found herself surrounded as the warriors closed in, their eyes cold and hungry for conquest. In that instant of chaos, the whispers of the past echoed in her mind. Memories of laughter, friendship, and the promise of loyalty. Just as panic threatened to consume her, a familiar presence surged forth from the depths of her memory. The boy, now a young man, had been wandering nearby, his instinct sharp, sensing the disturbance in the air. As he caught sight of the commotion, the bond they had once shared ignited a fire within him. Without hesitation, he rushed toward the scene, his heart pounding with the urgency of their unspoken connection. The strength of their friendship fueled his courage, and as he approached, he shouted to the warriors, his voice a mixture of defiance and determination. Leave her be, he called, stepping between the young woman and her attackers, his stance unwavering. The warriors paused, surprised by the sudden appearance of a young man willing to confront them. His presence radiated a fierce resolve, a protector forged from the bonds of their shared past. The young woman, heart pounding, felt a surge of hope as she realized that her friend had returned to her side, just as he had promised so many moons ago. While the other girls had fled to seek help, she knew that in this moment their friendship was stronger than any fear surrounding them. The boy, undeterred by the odds, spoke with the wisdom of their childhood, reminding the warriors of the respect that should exist between tribes. We are not enemies. There is strength in unity, not violence. This land belongs to all of us. We have shared the river, the stories, and the beauty of our culture. Do not let the darkness of hatred cloud your hearts. His word his words hung in the air like a sacred chant, and for a moment the warriors hesitated, their eyes flickering with uncertainty. In that fleeting moment, the young woman felt the weight of their shared past enveloping them, a protective shield that transcended the boundaries of fear and aggression. Seizing the opportunity, the boy reached for the woman's hand, pulling her close. Together they faced the warriors, their spirits intertwined, a testament to the strength of their bond. The young woman felt a surge of courage, and as they stood side by side, the warriors began to retreat. With the danger averted, the young woman and the boy turned and ran, their hearts racing as they made their way back to the fort. They were no longer the children who had played by the river. They were young adults who had faced the darkness together and emerged strong. As they reached the safety of the fort, the group of girls breathed a sigh of relief, their eyes wide with gratitude. The young woman found herself enveloped in the warmth of her friend's embrace, and it was the boy's gaze that held the truth of their journey. Their friendship had not only survived the years, but had grown stronger, unyielding against the trials of life. In the days that followed, the story of their bond spread throughout surrounding forts and even native villages. A story of courage, loyalty, and the unbreakable ties of friendship. The river continued to flow, a witness to their journey, reminding all who heard their story that love and understanding can conquer all, transcending the barriers of time, distance, and fear.
And that one, as the it's still not the ending, but gives us a little bit into, again, when you're standing with still unconditional love, you're still looking at the soul of a person. How much of it, as you said, it transcends everything.
Yeah,
And it gives people the courage to actually speak on that, to go, okay, these are still, there's no reason for the hatred to actually go into people's hearts just because of a difference in a 3D appearance even. So growing love helps to heal people. It helps to bring, like you said, and then all the stories that are in there, how much of their story, once people heard about it, survived years, right? That friendship and went through, and the people in the surrounding area heard of them.
yes. But you'll see in the next one what happens because you have to tune in next time on the next episode.
Yeah, there's two other after this, so that'll be in the next one, the Price of Love series. I'm almost tempted to actually read the next two to end it out, but we also had a little bit of Gorruk's collection that we're going to read from because it's so very close to the Christmas season or holiday season, whichever one you celebrate, and a lot of those stories are kind of floating out there too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm almost tempted to read those two though. Okay, so we will bring it into the next story. We'll give you a little clip of it. We'll put it in the next podcast. It'll be those two for the end that series out. Kind
Okay.
of end that series out because I know sometimes you get the inspiration to keep writing, and sometimes more stories will pop in under a series. Or
That's annoying, huh?
not really. Maybe for you if you're experiencing it and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
yay, I'm done. No, it's not.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so Gorruk's collection, if people aren't aware of, and it kind of was in the last few podcasts and then the lives when we were doing them on Facebook. Um, Gorruk is the spirit of even Yule or solstice. That is the winter spirit that kind of brings balance in through the winter realms and very much disciplines naughty children, or even in some cases eats naughty children. But you were inspired in a different source to bring apart what Gork's collection of not so cuddly toys would be, or not so cuddly pails would be. And you have a few of those. So we're going to end with a little bit of what some toys or not so cuddly toys or not so playful toys would look like if children were a little bit more naughty.
Yeah.
All right, so I will read two from there and we will end that one. And then, like I said, if anybody's interested, you can jump into Becky's Discord. I put the link in the description box underneath this. This will be uploaded onto YouTube, but not all of the podcast episodes will be on there. You guys can come in and actually be part of it, sit in the chat with us, and give your perspective on it. I did also open up comments underneath in the Spotify section for people to do a comment. We can also do a poll in Spotify, which goes through Amazon Music. It also goes through Audible, that people can be a part of the story time, be a part of the journey, our journey, and the story. Share all your experiences. All right. So Gorruk's collection, Not So Cuddly Friends, Cuddly Pals. This one is Not So Cuddly Pal. In the dim light of a child's bedroom, a teddy bear sits innocently on a shelf, but this is no ordinary companion. Its fur, once soft and golden, is now matted and stained, resembling the color of old dried blood. The bear's button eyes, once sparkling with warmth, now glimmer with a sinister sheen, reflecting an unsettling intelligence that seems to peer into the soul of anyone who dares to look. Its stitched mouth, once a gentle smile, is twisted into a grotesque grimace, revealing jagged teeth that seem too sharp for a toy. The seams of its body are frayed and gaping, as if something dark and writhing resides within, longing to escape. A faint, chilling whisper emanates from the bear when the room is silent, a haunting lullaby twisted with malevolence that lures children into a false sense of security. The bear's limbs, once soft and cuddly, are rigid and unnaturally stiff, as if they were crafted from the bones of the forgotten. When touched, a cold shiver runs through the air. A sense of dread fills the heart. At night, it seems to shift positions ever so slightly, its head tilting unnaturally as if it's observing its surrounding with a predatory gaze. A sinister aura surrounds this abominable creature, drawing shadows closer, as if they too are drawn to its dark energy. The teddy bear stands not as a symbol of comfort, but as a harbinger of nightmares, a reminder that even the most innocent of objects can harbor unspeakable evils, waiting patiently for the cover of darkness to unleash its terror. I,
Scary.
it is scary. I kind of want to laugh to throw a little bit in there to bring whatever that meme was floating around that some people would rather be in the woods with a bear. How about a
Yeah.
creepy teddy bear? Probably not. So, but again, also in line with a lot of, you'll see them in a lot of ghost hunt stuff, but you'll see them in particularly a lot of the where children were, maybe like old asylums that are abandoned and are said to be haunted. You'll see things like this, like little teddy bears that are basically holding the energy of something long past.
Yeah.
Gorruk's collection. Let's continue with his toy box. This one is Its Spin Exude Darkness. It spins. In the shadowy recesses of imagination, the demonic unholy version of the traditional string pole spinning top emerges as a grotesque embodiment of chaos and malevolence. This sinister artifact, crafted from darkened wood that appears almost charred, bears intricate carvings of twisted faces and airy symbols that seem to writhe and shift when observed from the corner of one's eye. The top's once joyful spinning motion now carries an unsettling aura, with jagged metal accents that glimmer like teeth in the dim light. Instead of the vibrant colors typically associated with traditional tops, this version is adorned with a palette of deep crimson, sickly green, and obsidian black, colors that evoke feelings of dread and foreboding. The string, once a simple tether to playful innocence, is now frayed and darkened, resembling a serpent ready to ensnare its prey. As the top spins, it emits a low, ominous hum, almost like a chant, resonating with an otherworldly energy that seems to draw in the curious and the unwary. The motion is erratic, defying the laws of physics as if possessed by a restless spirit. When it finally comes to a halt, the top does not simply stop. Instead, it quivers, as if in anticipation of the next act of chaos it will unleash upon the world. Surrounding the top, a faint mist swirls, carrying whispers of ancient prophecies and lost souls, creating an atmosphere of impending doom. It is a haunting reminder of the fine line between amusement and dark divination, merging the playful nature of a child's toys with the sinister aspects of fate and fortune. In this twisted form, the spinning top becomes a powerful talisman of despair, beckoning those brave enough or foolish enough to engage with its dark allure. So, dark divination. I do. I think there's something like with the spinning tops, and I do remember hearing something on that. I'm not sure if that's quite right, but about spinning tops being put down and where they would lay on a board or whatnot would be something that would be used as a divination tool to read into. Having a
Yeah.
dark top with something a little twisted now brings something a little bit more into it.
Yep.
A
Because
very
that was one of the things that the first thing that I saw when you look into it, when you first research about it, is that they were used for like divination, like you said, like predicting things that might happen. And most of the time, from what it says, most of the time it was mostly right, which is kind of crazy, but
well. How often are they tarot cards even correct? Well, some people are.
yeah,
It's their interpretation on it. But
yeah,
again, like you're when we were reading, like you're doing a reading on it, a lot of times, or how many times people use like a chicken and they put it on like the big board and it's going to predict the winning football game or whatever it is. It's in the sense the same
yeah,
way that a spinning top would, but again, you're putting your energy imbued into it when you pull that string.
yeah,
And some of them do make like sounds. And so that,
yeah,
speaking of sounds like that, it kind of brings me to the Aztec's death whistle, the skulls that you'd blow into, because for some
yeah.
reason you're reading it and that's what I ended up
I
hearing
made
in my
a
head.
story about that. Did you read it?
Not yet. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. I might have read that one. It's just
Yeah,
because we were talking about it and I know you wrote a story on it. But apparently those are the story behind that is a little bit more dark too. So,
yeah,
but those would be something in tradition. And it's funny how like some of these things, again, there's cultures that literally explored these dark aspects. And from an outsider's point of view, it would seem very creepy or dark or very dark, very just ominous and not something you would want to engage in. But in your own cultural tradition, those things were given reverence because they were an important part of ceremonies or sacred. Same thing with that's
yeah,
the idea with the spinning top would be a dreidel, which
yeah,
people would spin, right? So these are very traditional things that would when you're in and following that culture tradition doesn't seem odd, but from taking yourself out of that identity you're attached to and seeing it from an outside perspective could seem a little different.
yeah.
And I know you have more from Gorruk's toy box. I'm kind of calling it that, even though it's kind of dubbed that right now. Um, we could read a few. We may do another, maybe a couple more podcasts before the holiday season, which is coming up shortly. Um,
Yeah.
and
Wednesday.
is it? It's next Wednesday already. See,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
funny thing about this particular year, even though we don't quite do time, is that on next Wednesday, that there are two other holidays that also occur on the same day as what would be the traditional Christmas holiday. There's two others
Yeah.
that actually start that day and night as well. So kind of an important year for some people who are in those traditions and cultures and follow a lot of those holidays.
Yeah.
So we will come back to you with those stories. I want to thank you, Bucky, for writing them and allowing me to listen.
Thank you for reading it, Rose.
Thank you very much. And much of an inspiration. You've been an inspiration behind some other paintings that are being done. And I think you're kind of grasping taking a painting and making a story, so the opposite way. As we've been doing drums, spirit drums at this point, so something else to throw in there.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to be a part of Bucky's Storytime, if you'd like to purchase his book, Tales on the Winds of Time, those links will also be mentioned within the description box. And the Discord in which you can join, he has Discord, the Tales on the Winds of Time Discord, where you can read a lot of those stories as well, but you also get exclusives when we do story time, just like this. And a lot of times he'll put out there that you're doing a story time at night, in the
Yeah.
afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and then you get exclusive stories that sometimes you won't hear here on the podcast or see in any of the books yet. And you have another book coming out this next year.
Yes.
Awesome. A very rare way of taking tradition and culture and bringing you out of the personal perspective to see something more is what you do.
Yeah.
That's a rare gift.
As I've been told.
A good storyteller. Story writer, even. Okay, so with that, I will end this podcast and we will put the appropriate links down there. You can join us on any one of the other platforms that we'll put there. Not diving so much into the Facebook world, but we will put a few of them out there as well to share it out and tell us what your stories are. Tell us your experiences. So thank you. And on to the next story.